Hello, YouTube. This is Keith Kevin Ken. How you doing? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. It's time again for the knife of the day. This is where I go through my collection, which is now in four 1550 Pelican cases and one 1600 Pelican case. We're going through my collection one knife at a time, one day at a time. I'm going to attach this to the ongoing playlist. It's called Knife of the Day. You should check that out. There's also over, I don't know, close to 400 other pocket dump deconstructions on this channel. Go check them out. But you can see all of my Spyderco collection and a lot of my other collections as we go through this on the playlist. Usually Monday through Friday, every now and then, I do it right before going to work. Sometimes I'll skip a day or two. Usually not two, but I skip a day. Just because work gets me down. And on the weekend, if I don't have new knives that have come in from Spyderco or something, then I grab a bunch of knives that have something that is similar to each other. And then I talk about the knives and we play with knives over the weekend. But today, the knife of the day is from my Chris Reeve collection. I'm a huge Chris Reeve knives fan. Huge Chris Reeve knife fan. I know that company has switched hands over to his ex-wife and son. Most of my knives are when Chris Reeve was in charge, but I do have several very good knives since the changeover. That's a personal thing. By the way, I'm an older guy. I could care less about people's personal business. I just love the stuff that they put out. And I think the Chris Reeve knives are just wonderful. I do. And I have a knife sickness, like most of you guys. So that's why I do this every day. This is the Chris Reeve Mnandi. I call it a Bocote wood inlay. What do you guys call it? P-O-C-O-T-E. I call it Bocote inlay. Of course, the Chris Reeve Mnandi is one of three small Chris Reeve knives. I'll compare this to the other two. That's the small Sebenza 21 and the small Inkosi. I love small knives, small gentleman folders. I think if you look up gentleman's folder in a dictionary, you would see these knives because the Mnandi, so well done, so small, but also ready to do some work. I have several of them, I think 7 of them. Only two of them do not have a Damascus Blade. This one has the basket weave Damascus. You see that? Just really nice. I love how the pieces of metal are real packed super tight because look at this. Look at the spine of the blade where you can see a lot of the different metals coming together. This is a beautiful knife. It just is. And, you know, sometimes you'll say beautiful because of all the materials, and this, yes, the materials make it beautiful. I think what make the Mnandi, by the way, Mnandi is very nice. That's right. It's Zulu for very nice, and this is a very nice little knife. I think beauty, and especially when you look at Chris Reeve knives, I have a lot of fancy smancy Chris Reeve knives, but as you guys know, I love the simplicity of them as well. There is nothing simple about this knife, but there are some really nice, simple touches, and I love that about these knives. For instance, that's a youngins, that's a nail nick. That's usually on a lot of old-fashioned knives. Basically, I, growing up, never saw a pocket knife without a nail nick. This is the newer version of the Mnandis, and I know a lot of people, the older versions with the nail nick, it was a little bit deeper. And some people say with the newer ones, it's hard to do with one hand. But of course, you guys have seen me do these with one hand. Pinch, pull it up. But what a wonderful knife. just really simple. So let's talk about there's nothing simple about this. What am I talking about? But I like the simple parts like a nail nick. You know, you have this fancy smancy modern day pocket knife, gentleman's folder, and you put a nail nick in. I like that. I really do. So let's talk about the blade. Again, this is the basket weave Damascus Blade. There are a number of different Damascus that Chris Reeve have used over the years, but most of his modern knives, you have raindrop Damascus, ladder Damascus, and the basket weave. For the most part, I know there's all kinds of different other. This is 2.75 inches. It's under that 3-inch knife range, and you know, you pull this out, it's like any other pocket knife. Just a small, fancier pocket knife to people, which is nice. You know, it's not scary, but it can do real work. Of course, has jimping right here on it. You're not going to build a house with a Mnandi, obviously, but it's really nice. 2.75 inches, clip point blade. The entire knife is just 6.4 inches from tip to butt, right? And it only weighs 1.5 ounces. You hear me? 1.5 ounces. And that's with the wood inlays. Again, this Bocote wood inlaid on top of polished titanium. And talk about simple touches. Again, sometimes I'll watch people doing knife reviews, and I know people that hate my knife reviews because they're not as technical and stuff, but you know, they start sounding like an interior designer, right? And I get it, but for this, just bear with me a little. I just like the touches. Of course, this is inlaid. There's a groove on top of this polished titanium that this fits in and is glued in. I love the little pivot with the logo on it. But they leave the titanium around the edges, which I love. Of course, it's all smooth. There's no rough edges, no hot points at all. I like that. And then, of course, because it's not only part of the scale, but the liners as well, I love that then they don't polish all of it. I like that. It has the Chris Reeve integral frame lock, but because you have the scale there, the wooden scale, it can fool you into thinking it's a liner lock, but it's not. It is a frame lock, the complete Chris Reeve integral frame lock right there. Sturdy, will not go anywhere. Of course, all Chris Reeve knives, lifetime guarantee. Sounds like I'm talking from the 30s, right? Can always send it back in. And then the clip. Again, the clip is like an old-fashioned tie clip. It's so fancy. Sometimes I'll carry these in my dress shirt pocket with just the clip hanging out and people think it's a pin or something. Just a real nice, altogether knife. I love these knives. I do. You probably can tell, right? The knife of the day, it's the Chris Reeve Mnandi. Very nice. That's the Zulu name, Mnandi, which means very nice. With the Bocote wood inlays, on top of polished titanium, and the titanium also is liners as well. Has the frame lock kind of hidden behind the scale on the clip side. Oh man. And of course that basket weave Damascus. Just a wonderful, wonderful gentleman's folder. The other two I talked about, that's the small Nkosi. The one thing we never got was a small Sebenza 25. And Chris Reeve and the gang came out with small Nkosis when they discontinued the 25, brought out the large and small Nkosi. Now we have a small 25, which I love. And of course, on the other side, the small Sebenza 21. This happens to be a Star Benza, small Star Benza. there you have it. That's the knife of the day. If you enjoy these daily videos, don't forget to thumb it up. Let me know that you're out there. I'm loving the comments. I read your comments within half hour when they hit. Sometimes it takes me a while to get back to you guys, but I will. So I really appreciate that. That just keeps me going. It really does. Don't forget also to subscribe. That really helps me. And when you subscribe, you have to hit that bell that turns on notifications. That way, Google will send you my videos, let you know that they're on. If not, you'll lose videos. I've done that with a lot of the channels I follow. I really appreciate all of you guys. Take care. Keep those pockets full. Goodbye.